This is Reality with Partiality. I am your host, Percy A. Lewis, together with my co-host,
Ivan Williams, right here. Thanks.
uh, and in studio today we have our guest, Dr. Gregory Arana. Good morning, Doc.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning to all your listeners. It's a pleasure
Thank
to be
you.
here.
Yes, you're welcome. Life is an expedition, and our intellect is the tool for exploration. Life presents us with situations. Situations are challenges for us to conquer, and in so doing, we become a better version of ourselves. A situation only becomes a problem to the one who does not have the solution. Whenever one is faced with a situation, instead of looking to assign blame, she should look for the solution. For example, there are adult Garinagu children who are today blaming their parents for not having taught them the language. Instead of going to language school or helping themselves remotely via YouTube, Google, and the internet broadly. Now, fear. Fear is a barrier to becoming the best version of yourself. Fear of what may or may not occur in the future. Whenever one becomes preoccupied with what may or may not happen in the future, she is not living. She is wasting life, his or her life. Similarly, whenever a person gets bogged down with the past, reminiscing about great great grandmother, this, that, who had gone before, she is not living in his or her existential reality. She is wasting life. The three score and ten, and perhaps a little more. The past, you see, is memory. One can no longer change or do anything about. So to live in one's existential reality is to create memorable experiences. You and I should be living with intensity. Intense, not tense. Relax, not lax. Living as if though today we're going to be our last, because it can be. What we don't have is time. Time is on a 24-hour steady rotation. However, we all come with this bottom line, a date of birth and a date of expiration. So don't become like so many who died left with their mouths wide open, not gasping for air necessarily, but caught unawares, flat-footed by death. People look around and think everybody around them are going to die someday, but rarely do they look, most people, at themselves that they can die anytime and therefore prepare. So they get caught unawares. Today in studio is our guest of Reality with Personality, Dr. Gregory Arana, one who has had to give so many people the bad news about their terminal illnesses. Either that or deliver the bad news to their family members. Dr. Arana is here to tell us and our audience about his journey, past, present, and future, in becoming the best version of himself. Morning again, Doc.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Percy. It's a genuine pleasure to be here.
Yes,
And thanks for the invitation.
yes, Doc. We've seen your good works. We've seen you on air making interviews, your presence in Belize, coming back home, bringing missionary teams and so on. Um, Going down south, you've been quite visible, even recently, of late. In the flow, you are going to tell us about those things and the charity that you do. But Doc, the environment you grew up in, your early childhood, um, for example, the influence on your early education. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
Yes, I was born in Belize City. But my parents, both my parents are from Punta Gorda. I'm the son of Gregory Miguel Arana, um, from the PG Aranas, and Ignacia Erlinda Martinez from the PG Martinezes. Um, so even though I grew up in Belize City, I was always conscious of my Garifuna heritage. Um, we grew up on Neil Pen Road. Back in those days, Neil Pen Road in Belize City was not paved. I remember the potholes, the huge potholes across the road where the car would go in one side of the pothole and come out the other side. So I grew up in very humble beginnings. But even though we had humble beginnings, both my parents were teachers, and so they taught us to be proud of who we are, and proud of our rich heritage, and most importantly, they taught us love, and they showed that they loved each other and that they loved us, even with the fierce discipline that sometimes accompanied that. I think it built our characters.
That siblings. You have
Yes.
siblings?
Yes, yes, of course. The eldest is my sister, Madame Justice Michelle Arana.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's well known. When I go to Belize, the mission groups I work with, they always they always tell me that how come I'm so famous. I said I'm not as famous as my sister.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Madame Justice is the first Garifuna, but the first woman to be Chief Justice in
Yes,
Belize. So
indeed,
she's a
indeed.
pioneer in many respects. Yeah, so I
Yes.
definitely salute her. I have two
Yes.
younger brothers,
Okay.
Adrian and Michael. Adrian is a
Okay.
banker. He works currently at the National Bank in Belize, previously at Atlantic Bank,
Mm-hmm.
Central Bank.
Yes.
And Michael is with the Belize Tourism Board. He's a statistician.
Okay.
Michael has been a statistician with the Belize Tourism Board for many years. Yeah, so there are
Yes.
four siblings.
Yes. How do you get your strength each day? Like your spirituality.
Um, I think one of the formative experiences was my father passing away, my dad passing away when I was 12 years old. So we were raised in the Catholic Church, and my entire education has been, well, up to college has been through the Jesuit Catholic education.
Okay.
Saint Ignatius Primary School in Belize City, St. John's College, high school and sixth
Yes.
form, and then Regis University for my first degree, my first bachelor's. I did a bachelor's in Regis University in Colorado, Denver. I won a Jesuit scholarship, and I did
Yes.
a bachelor's in biology and math. So during that entire time, it was the Catholic education, the Catholic spirituality, being a Catholic. Um, since then, I've kind of expanded my concept of spirituality, beyond
Okay.
that, focusing on humanity, and the fact that humanity matters, and that yes, God is present, and but we should be free to interpret God in our lives in
Yes.
whatever way, you know best suits us. Not denying our indigenous traditions and different things like that, even the African spirituality. Uh, so that's been my guiding thing. The format It was a formative thing. My dad passing away. Um, he had a he was actually marking papers in Trinidad, 1983, I believe, and he
Okay.
had a heart attack, pulmonary embolus. And so I think looking back, that experience really was probably one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, but it also raised a fire in me to want to help people get well. So looking back,
Okay.
that might be why I became a physician, despite all odds.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
And
you merited a scholarship to
Yes.
go abroad and study
Right.
in the, uh-huh. and then from there you catapult and you continued. But
Yes.
then you are hinting that some people call it calling. Some people call it, they're well, they aspire.
Yes.
It's an aspiration.
Yes.
Um, but well, here on the show we talk about niche.
Yes.
That one thing. That okay. So you decided to become a medical doctor when did it dawn on you? How did that happen?
I think in high school, even before sixth form, I had
Ah.
in my mind that that's the direction I was going to. Yeah, my dad passed away just as I was about to start St. John's High School,
Mm.
and so
And
during high
may I ask what does it take to become a doctor?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people who aspire to be a doctor, but it's good
yeah,
to inform,
Mm-hmm.
what does it
Mm-hmm.
take?
Mm-hmm.
How many years of training, whatever? Give us a good insight of what you go
Mm-hmm.
through, what you have to go through to become a doctor.
yes, I did my medicine at UWI in Jamaica, and that just the basic medicine is 5 years and a year and a half of internship. So, but just getting into medical school requires, the
Mm-hmm.
fact that I had my bachelor's in biology and math before applying to medical school, that helps. So
Okay.
you need to do college, a college degree, especially as it becomes more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, you need to have some sort of college degree to enter medical school, and it takes a lot of commitment. Even now, because the University of West Indies is based off the British system, and they sometimes throw you, put you in the furnace. So it's not an easy road. You know,
No, it's not.
they want to outdo the British in terms of the strictness of that education, and so it was good for me to be in the University of West Indies, Jamaica, because I got exposed to different Caribbean cultures. My fellow medical graduates. We just celebrated 27 years last year. 27 years of graduating medical school, but we have Bahamians, Barbadians, of course,
Yes.
a lot of Jamaicans, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. So
Uh-huh.
I got exposed to all these different Caribbean cultures, Trinidad, a couple of folks from
Yes.
Trinidad as well, and so that was good.
But
It, it,
but
it,
but
it,
Doc,
it, it takes
is there an area of focus in your training, or is just general?
um it's general medicine and surgery. Since I've been here in the U.S., I've done a lot of surgery because
Okay.
I work as a surgical assistant. Um,
Mhm.
when we moved to the U.S. 19 years ago, we moved the family. Um, I the only place I could get a job, because the system here is so different, and I didn't do the full residency training. The only place I could get a job was as a house physician, surgical house physician, because I had surgical experience prior to this. And so what I've been doing, I've been a surgical first assistant at some of the top hospitals in South Florida over the past 19 years. So what I do every day is I work with orthopedic surgeons repairing um, hip replacement, joint replacement, knee replacements, shoulder and replacement, and arthroscopies. I work with general surgeons doing gallbladders, appendix, open abdomens, and now what that's been moving to is that at the top center, which is Baptist Health that I currently work with, they're moving away from even laparoscopic surgery, which is what I
Mhm.
helped introduce to Belize recently. They're moving to robotic surgery. So there's these advanced robots that come in, and the surgeon still guides the robot, but they use the robot to operate even more efficiently than what's available. some of what I was able to do with this experience is leverage it for Belize, because Belize is still behind on maybe 20, 30 years behind on laparoscopic surgery, which is the advanced minimal invasive keyhole surgery that we did at Western Regional in Belmopan a few weeks ago for the first time in Belmopan.
So, okay. So,
Yeah,
in terms of reaching back, you've not limited your charity work to Punta Gorda. You tell us about reaching back. How
Yes, 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 yes. Of course. Sometimes we don't realize, you know, how much we have to give because we spend the whole time trying to survive. You
Okay.
know, for the first maybe 10 years plus that I was here, I was just trying to survive in this system where everything gets more expensive in America every day, and the pay doesn't really go up to match that. You know, and so I was raising a young
Right.
family and just focused on paying the bills, etc. But within, I'd say, the past 5 years, I started reconnecting with what you call the diaspora here in South Florida, and
Okay.
and we have even today, this weekend we're celebrating Miramar Belize Day, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a few. But
Yes.
in terms
Yes.
of giving back, um, I was lucky to be working with one of the top um, hepatobiliary, which is liver and gallbladder surgeons in Baptist Health. And he reached out to me one day and said, "Greg, do you know anything about PG?" So I said, "PG?" Because he always used to hear me talk about Belize. Every day we're operating, I
Yes.
tell him
Yes.
about
Yes.
Belize and things like that. And he was
Uh-huh.
interested. So one day he said, "Greg, do you know anything about PG?" I said, "PG? I mean, of course. I mean, that's where my parents are from." So here in America, a lot of people don't even know about Belize. So I was surprised that he asked me about PG. And so he,
Yes. Yes.
he
Yes.
explained to me that SOFA,
Okay.
SOFA, Surgical Outreach for the Americas.
Uh-huh.
Their website is www.surgicaloutreach.org.
Okay.
This organization has been working in Belize maybe up to for about 10 years, initially in Corozal, and more recently in the past few years in Punta Gorda. And so I said, "Listen, that's where my people are from, PG, whatever I can do to help." So this is a year and a half ago. And what SOFA has been doing is they're focused on hernia repairs, open hernia repairs. So they
Okay.
go to PG, they shipped a container full of equipment. They
Uh-huh.
they built kind of like an operating room because PG Hospital has no surgery happening
Okay.
there.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the
Yes.
South is still neglected. It
Yes.
has no surgery there when these mission group is not there.
Mm.
So they bring a
Mm.
team of about 15 people, and they pay for everything for these, even including they usually stay at, I think, Baya Suites recently,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
housing and everything. So they're a charity that raises funds in the U.S. in St. Louis, Missouri, and they pay for everything. And so they go in and they do surgeries on about 50 Belizeans in PG at a time, and they repair hernias because the folks there would not have the opportunity to get their belly button hernia, their inguinal or groin hernia repaired, and then it affects
Mm.
them when they work and things like that. You can't work
Mm.
because you strain and this swelling comes up on the belly button and the groin. So they do this in Punta Gorda, but they also do this in Dominican Republic, Honduras,
Okay.
other places.
Okay.
So they're
Okay.
as far as Kenya, they've done these missions.
Yes. So they
So
are establishing.
yeah, I
Okay.
was lucky to be invited, and I said
Mm.
yes, and I went down to PG
Mm-hmm.
last year, February, I believe, and so since then I've been working with them to expand their role, but their focus is still the South. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
where
hopefully it's going to be annual. Hopefully.
yes, yes, they're coming back in October.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
where
planning
where
on
where, where
PG in October.
Go
So
if
ahead.
I may, very, very, very,
Go ahead.
that
Go ahead.
charity is very, 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 very good. Doc, how does the system works in terms of registration in Belize to practice and these doctors coming in? How does it work? I know we have a medical association that does
yes, the medical
something.
council. Yes.
What is the
Yeah.
licensing like? What is the licensing arrangement like,
So
and
so
what do you
so
think about it?
they also have to pay to be licensed. So they have to submit their credentials to the medical council in advance, and they pay for a temporary license, whether it be a month or something like that. So the organization has to pay for this license for their surgeons to be able to operate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh,
they have to get that clearance. So everything is above board.
it
Uh,
is.
um,
It is.
yeah, and so they've been
Yeah.
coming back every year. What we did in this
Uh-huh.
last thing is that they invited me on board because of my connections in Belize, and so I reached out to the Ministry of Health and I set up a meeting with the minister and the CEO of Ministry of Health
Right.
last year, and so they said that they wanted to bring laparoscopy to the south, southern
Mhm.
Belize. Since then, they've donated 3 laparoscopic towers. One went to Western Regional. So the laparoscopic towers is a 25,000 to 30,000 US set of equipment, and they donated 3 of them to the Ministry of Health. One is at Western Regional. That's what we used like a few weeks ago to do the first
Yes.
laparoscopic surgery there. One is slated for Southern Regional, and one went to Carl Hushner because Carl Hushner does the most laparoscopic surgeries in the country, and they, I believe, only had 1 tower at the time. So that's going to be a big help to them. We had some pushback, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
Um, we got to find out that the Southern Regional has been kind of limping along with only one of their 2 operating. This is Dangriga. One of their 2 operating rooms has been functional for the past almost 3 years due to mold. Now, when we were negotiating with Ministry of Health, we didn't realize that this was the case, and so we were wondering why are you not letting us send the tower to where it's supposed to be? This group is focused on helping the South, and we want to build
Right.
a laparoscopic surgery in Dangriga
Right.
because PG doesn't have anything, and we can't do it there. We need a real hospital.
Right.
Unfortunately, we didn't find this out until our trip, a couple of weeks ago. But it's one of the
Yes.
hurdles that you face. I mean, the hardest thing has been us getting the right information so that we can be efficient in what these people. I keep telling the ministry that these people are extremely busy. I know, the ministry is busy in meetings and administration and things like that, but also our leadership is in these donors are extremely busy people. So when they meet with you and say this is what we're going to do, they mean what they say. They're not playing politics. They're not
We
hiding the
know.
information.
We
So
know. We
you ha-
know.
you have to be open to helping them get what they want to get done because it will benefit all Belizeans. But
We
Right.
know. We know.
yeah,
We have to get our act together back
yeah,
home here,
yeah.
here at home.
Unfortunately, the donors are upset right now because um,
Ay,
the,
ay, ay.
things did not go the way they planned.
Well, well,
Apparently, yeah,
I hear you.
the leadership said, "Oh yes, we finally got a contractor to repair the OR, and we're gonna have to keep the towers at Western Regional until the OR is repaired in Dagriga." And so leadership is upset, and they said they're not going to move forward with anything else apart from PG, which is their original, has already been planned, until they see that this equipment that they donated is actually goes to where it's supposed to go to.
And hear me now. Hear me. That's why we have this show, because
Yeah.
I will challenge them. I am challenging them now. I'm challenging Rad, Rado, that area rep down there. I am
No, no,
challenging
no, no.
Zebani. Hold on now. Hold on. Let me finish. I'm challenging both of them. I am challenging the mayors of Dangriga and Punta Gorda. I am saying so in the context of talking about this forgotten South and this forgotten South. And they are there to advocate and to ensure that we are ready to receive the good gifts. I don't want excuses. I don't want excuses. I don't want us to debate this, Ivan. This is not for debate. We are hearing now on air that the product was ready, the good gift was there to deliver. And it was when the team and donors got on the ground that they realized the truth. We don't play that. I come from foreign affairs, as you both know. I come from foreign affairs. So we made these connections with help for missionaries coming in to do medical missions. And so we made these connections. There's a director of health there with whom we worked on the CEO. But we have to get our act together. There is no and if or but. We have to get our act together. And in particular, I put this at the feet of the politicians down south. The politicians. Right?
Yeah.
They are the ones
Yeah.
that sit in cabinet. They are the ones that talk to their people in government. They have to clean this up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I support you 100%.
No.
I support you 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We did insist that Southern Regional be included, but we had to keep insisting, multiple times during the course of our discussions, and we didn't understand why they were excluding Southern Regional. So this last trip, yes, they sent a bus from Southern Regional and they sent the staff up, but we noticed the staff was very they were frustrated because it's like the surgeons are saying that this thing has been happening like this for the past 3 years, and they have to do they have to do clean and dirty cases in the same operating room. And what happens is that this hospital serves the entire South, both PG and both Toledo and Stan Creek. So what this means then is that the general surgeons, if they have a case and an emergency comes in from Toledo or Stan Creek, obstetric, meaning a woman that has to have a C-section, that surgery has to be bumped or moved because there's only one operating room working. Right? Everything is coming from Toledo, etc.
No, we hear
that's almost 80,000 people, I believe,
Right.
in Toledo and Stan Creek, and only one who are functioning for
Right.
whatever reason, So obviously the surgeons were, and the staff down there, they were kind of resistant to, because they feel like
Yes.
they've been neglected. Their needs are not being met, and so.
I want the media to take a hold of it too. And I didn't call his name, but Minister Kenya, you are a part of this also.
Yes,
I mean,
that's
what
what I
the
was.
doc is saying, we are talking about 2 districts. Punta Gorda is not ready to facilitate this thing. So the choice is obviously Danbriga to serve both districts.
Yeah,
And
that's how
only
it's
to find,
structured. Yes.
only to find that Danbriga, they were hiding the truth. Instead of getting the act together, asking for a little more time, whatever, right? They were deceptive. That is how I look at it now. I am the one saying it. That is my opinion.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Well, anyway,
Person. Thank you for bringing Minister Rekena on board. That's what I was trying to say to you. And also, I think the Minister of Health need to pay some attention too.
Yes, but but we elect these gentlemen and women from the South to represent the South, right? In the policy making. So we are talking specific. Well, that Belize Day in Florida. Let's go back to that a little bit to cool the atmosphere.
Yes. Yeah. So tomorrow is Belize Day in Florida, but we already have here in Miramar. So let me tell you about. I got invited to sit on the board of the Miramar Belize City Sister Cities Committee. Mr. Michael Devin Young, Desiree Young, Calvin and Walter Neal. They have been, especially Mr. Michael Young Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He's been working with the city of Miramar, Florida, for the past 10 years, to the point where about a year ago they signed an official sister city agreement
Yes.
between the city of Miramar and Belize City.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a big deal, and he saw the work I was doing in Belize, and he invited me to sit on the sister city committee, Miramar
Yes.
Belize sister city committee, a few months ago. So I've been doing that, and we've been building up to Belize Day, Miramar Belize Day, 2026. The mayor of Miramar issued a proclamation last night
Uh-huh.
to officially uh, designate tomorrow, Saturday 11th, as Belize Day in Miramar. And so we're having a big celebration, but we also have the Department of Immigration here doing passports renewals, land. People can check on their land birth certificates right here in Miramar, the VSU, and we're having the guests from the Carl Hirschner Memorial Hospital. The CEO and the Director of Medical Services are here. The Belize City Council is represented down in Madrid. He's gonna swear in some JPs here in the US to serve the Belize diaspora. So there are so many things happening. Um, Chico Ramos is gonna be here to do a performance tomorrow. Um,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and we have the ambassador to the United States is gonna
Yes.
be here as
Yes.
well. So it's
Khalid.
taking a lot of work, but there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about building collaboration and partnerships, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
part of a bigger way of tapping into the diaspora, which is the Belizeans here in the U.S. and our connections. Today, in about an hour or so, I'm going to take the CEO and the DMS from KHMH to do a tour of the facility where
Yes.
where, where I worked in, where I met Dr. Asbun, and where to
Okay.
see what they do on this end, and to try and see if they can in the future have donations to beds and different things that the hospital needs, um, so we can continue the good work. Build
And
collaboration.
yes, and you know, um, there's it's when credibility has been eroded, there has to be work to get it back
It's
to
ongoing.
where.
It's
Yes,
ongoing,
yes,
sir. You're
very good,
absolutely right, and I,
very
I,
good,
I I
very
keep
good.
explaining to them that, like, for example, this relationship with Baptist Health, I've built this relationship for 8 years. So I'm
Hmm.
hesitant to put myself out there and ask for example, for a tour of the
Yes.
facility if I'm not
Okay.
certain that it will
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
reciprocated and respected on the end of the Belizeans
Our
coming.
side, our side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's definitely a challenge. Yeah.
Well,
Like Michael has been building this relationship, like I said, for 10 years, and it's just showing up. Keeping being present. Networking and things like that. So it's a big deal.
I want.
Love FM is in town to cover some of the
Okay.
activities, and
Yeah.
so
Can you?
I want to thank your Florida, you know, Belize American Diaspora Organization. I want to thank the government for the immigration services, you know, especially around this time. We don't have to get
yes,
into the details of, but it
absolutely,
is so
absolutely, sir.
needed. It is so
Yeah,
needed to service our people, our Belizeans living in diaspora.
yeah,
So there are good things also happening, and we want to thank the government. We want to thank our Belize government and the representatives that are there. They are hosting at this time, and we want to thank you and your organization for doing this. So we applaud the good things that are happening. That, with your kind permission, let's talk about your genealogy. You want to tell us a little bit about your genealogy?
yes. So
Uh-huh.
I'd like to highlight the Garifuna teachers.
Okay.
My uncle Frank wrote a book about the impact of the Garifuna teachers. Frank
Uh-huh.
Arana. Frank Arana
Mm-hmm.
is God rest his soul, is my uncle. the
Okay.
impact of Garifuna teachers, because I want to talk about my father's birth. My
Yes.
father was born
Yes.
in Sartaneja, Corozal. Why is
Okay.
this? My
Uh-huh.
grandfather, Adriano Arana, was
Uh-huh.
principal at a school in Corozal
Okay.
my father was born.
Okay.
So my mother was born in Santa Elena,
Uh-huh.
Cayo. This is before there were any roads. So they
Yes.
went by boat, the Heronage, etc., all the way up the coast and then
Uh-huh.
through the river into Cayo.
Uh-huh.
Why is this? Because my grandfather, Charles Martinez, the
Yes.
first, was a teacher in those remote areas. So this is the Catholics leveraged the Garifuna men as teachers in these remote areas throughout Belize
Right.
to educate in villages. I remember my grandpa, Charles Martinez, spoke
Mm-hmm.
Quechua Maya, Mupan Maya, Spanish, uh,
Yes.
all the languages.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I remember a story that my mom up to recently, my mom Agnes Arana told me this story, reminded me
Uh-huh.
that he would tell her when she was a little girl. She would ask
Uh-huh.
him, "How far does he have to walk from the road to go into Quikasarko or one of these remote villages?"
Uh-huh.
And he said, "It's not far, daughter. It's only 25 miles walk
Woo!
after the drop right?" So he would walk through jungle with machetes, right?
Wow.
Cutting his way
Wow.
through the bush to get to these villages
Wow.
where our
Wow.
girlfriend teachers are
Wow.
taught. Yeah.
Wow.
So um, my great grandfather was Concepcion Arana, and
Okay.
he fought, I think, in World War I,
Yes.
on the Arana side, and so it
Mm-hmm.
goes back. He had 8 children, and I'm related to all those lines in PG. Um,
Yes. Yes.
the
Yes.
Ramirez's, the Melendres's,
Mm-hmm.
Sister Nunes, late Sister Mavis Nunes,
Yes.
who's a pioneer as CRNA
Yes.
in
Yes.
Belize.
Renee's mother. That's right.
Right, yeah, yeah. So
Go
she's
ahead.
my father's first cousin. And
Mm-hmm.
so I have all these relatives in PG. So my wife is Jamaican, and she would always tell her sons, make sure you don't marry nobody from PG because
Mine, cousin.
I'm cousins to everybody. Literally, that's Garfield and PG. Yeah, but I do come from a proud line of Garifuna pioneers and leaders, and so
Indeed.
that's what I
Indeed.
want to highlight in terms of my genealogy.
That
Yeah,
your
on, on,
vision.
on the
Go ahead.
Martinez
Uh-huh.
side, I have Uncle Eden Martinez and Uncle Charles Martinez.
Oh.
So both of them are political representatives.
Uncle,
From
uncle,
from
uncle from
from
your
my mom.
maternal.
My mom's brother is Eden Martinez and
I
Charles
see.
Martinez the
I
second.
see. I
Number
So
see.
I've seen pictures of Charles Martinez with the prime minister in and they still call him rep because he was a representative for PG
Right.
when Prime Minister Price,
Way back when.
yeah, way
Okay.
back when. Yes.
Ah. So,
And
sorry. Finish
yeah,
your,
yeah,
finish your,
yeah.
finish
So
your thought.
I just wanted to highlight them. Um, Uncle Eden was a former representative, I think, for Toledo East for many years, from the
Yeah.
UDP side.
Let me give my
Yes,
co-host
yes.
a little opportunity. Go ahead, co-host. We're winding down. Go ahead and ask your, a couple questions, whatever.
Well,
Co-host.
Doc, yes, Doc, going forward, how do you see it in Belize and, generally with your charity? How do you see it going on?
Okay, so that's a good question. Since I've been involved with SOFA, I've seen their commitment to Belize, and I want to expand upon that. So I have a vision. I
Okay.
noticed in the past year and a half that there's no mammography available in the entire South. So mammography is a specialized X-ray of the woman's breast. Breast cancer is one of the leading, you know, things that affect women, and we're seeing breast cancer
Mhm.
earlier because of it, for whatever reason, the change in diet, the toxins
Right.
in our food, in our air, in just all over. We're seeing breast cancer younger and more frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of focusing on the problem, I have a vision to bring a imaging center and a women's health center to the Dangriga area to serve this out. Um, I have started to put this nonprofit idea together, and
Okay.
so I, can I would like to supplement, yes, what the ministry is doing, but I think we would be best served to be independent,
Non-profit.
a nonprofit, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm reaching out to. I'm glad that I'm on the show. I'm
Uh-huh.
sharing this for the first time with just a few select people, but
Yes.
I think that your audience, would
Yes.
be aligned with what I would like to try and accomplish.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, because it has to come from the people. I mean,
Yes.
we found that once I announced that, for example, that we were bringing laparoscopy to Belmopan, people
Mm-hmm.
started asking for it. Even in Belmopan, the surgeons that I collaborate with there, they said, people are asking, I want my surgery this way. So
Mm-hmm.
a large part of why I publicize these things is so that people can be aware that even if they're trying to quote unquote humbug us, from whatever side, or not facilitating it,
Right.
people would know
Right.
that these services, or this plan is available, and they would want to encourage those that have the power to influence it, to influence it in a positive way so that we can better serve the people of the South.
Doc,
That would do.
we will need another show so you could break it down. Right?
Yes.
The nature, the
Yeah,
nature.
it's early days yet, so it's important
Yes.
not
Yes.
to share this dream with naysayers that want to kill your dream and your vision early.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Right.
we have a lot of crowd in the barrel, but we want to try and align with those like yourselves that are positive thinkers and want to see a better, a better future for the South.
Yeah. Co-host.
Yeah, I think you mentioned something, and if I understand you correctly, you're looking also not only on the surgical part, but a certain level of prevention.
Yes.
And so education would be key. So could you give us a
Yeah.
little insight on that?
Yeah. There are certain things we do in primary care. Breast self examination. We have to teach that to women. The physician can examine the woman's breasts, to see if there's any suspicious lumps, etc. But at some point, if we find something suspicious, we have to have a mammogram, and there are certain criteria. Um, Women of reproductive age, they have to have they need to have a screening mammogram,
Mm-hmm.
um, at least once a year, or maybe once every 2 years if it's not available. This 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 is something that allows early detection, right? I have a memory of my aunt, Alfonso Gale, teacher Gale in PG. Shortly
Mm-hmm.
after my dad died, she passed away because she had fungating breast cancer, fourth
Mm-hmm.
stage.
Mm-hmm.
So my cousins, the Gales, they grew up without. She was a single mother. They grew up without, without the parents, and this is 30 plus years ago. And so I was a little disappointed, to find out that even up to today, if you want a mammogram and you're from the South, even if you're from a remote village or anywhere in the South, you have to go to either Belmopan or Belize City, right? You can't get one, even if you can pay privately
Right.
for a mammogram, whatever the cost is. You're unable to get one. So AI has helped me, to look at this picture, and they said that if there's still up to 6 months wait if you're diagnosed with cancer before you can get treatment because of that
Mm.
gap in screening. A
Okay.
woman with breast cancer might wait up to 6 months before she can have the surgery, and by that time, sometimes it's too late. The cancer is stage 2, 3, 4,
Right.
and has spread, right? So there are real challenges we have to address, and that is just women's health alone.
Yeah,
And I'm sure, there's other areas as well, because
yeah.
of course men's health is important. Screening for prostate and things like that. Not being there in Belize, it's difficult to get information sometimes, but we do know that these things are there. And our team so far, they can only come for 1 week at a time. Like I said, they're very busy, so they
Yes.
come and they have a massive impact. But what happens after that? What is being put in place?
Well, that is all, gentlemen, we have time for, except that for your closing remarks. But I just want to also mention there's Minister Martinez of the South. So there are four ministers, two from Punta Gorda, and when Doc spoke about Punta Gorda, as well as Stan Creek West and so on. These are lots of villages, so you have to bring the people in. You have to
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to accommodate, give them accommodation to get the services that are being provided.
yes, yes, yeah.
Housing, and
This, yeah,
you have to feed
this,
them. You have to this.
yeah.
So
So
the
this
logistics
this
is
is a challenge.
expensive. It
Logistics
is.
is absolutely, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
because a gynecologist I work with on SOFA, she has been seeing some women with women's health issues in Toledo, and she describes that she went to see some of the remote villages, even to get to PG area, Hillside Healthcare, for her to see these women and do her studies, etc. They had to travel a long distance. So for her to
Yes.
do some of the procedures that they want to do at Southern Regional,
Mhm.
they would have to bus them from remote villages in Toledo.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
logistics is definitely an issue. But they're
So
willing to do it. They're willing to pay the cost of the bus and things like
right,
that. But
right.
we need to work hand in hand,
Better
and
collaboration,
collaboration, and
right?
not be
An organization on the ground. So
yes,
we need our minister, our area reps,
yeah,
together with our social partners, to
yeah,
really work on this and
yeah,
tighten up any loose
yeah,
ends. Doc,
yes, yes,
your
yes,
closing remarks, please.
yes. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here and to share my expertise, with my home, especially in the southern part of Belize, where there are ongoing challenges, yes, but there's so much to offer. I became a physician because I got a professional and technical scholarship from the Ministry of Education, and so I I am here because of Belize, right? I am who I am because
Yes.
of Belize and because of everything that I've talked about. I'm cognizant of this, and so when I saw the opportunity to help give back to Belize at any point, I jump on board and I do that, regardless of the sacrifice that is involved. But I'm very hopeful that we can move forward and establish a bigger vision. They say if the vision doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. So I'm at the point now where the vision that's been developing it's getting a little bit scary, but that makes it worthwhile.
Doc, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you, co-host. That is all we have for today. We're calling on all our social partners, our partners in media, to bring attention to this worthy cause so we can tighten our screws and get our act together. They're at home, ready to receive these good gifts. Much
Yes.
obliged, my gentlemen. Have a good one. Doc, we need to do this again.
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Around two.
I'm
Oh,
grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and
uh-huh.
a pleasure meeting you both in person. you
Likewise.
know,
Are
Thank you.
you?
Thank you,
Uh,
Doc.
Ayo.
You. Thank you, Doc. Thank you.
Okay.